Byzantine today means scheming or old or devious. But during its 1100 years, the Byzantine Empire would not only be the savior to the Western world's profound heritage of law and literature, but it would put Christianity on the fast track, and along the way give us the artisans and builders and craftsmen who would eventually light up the Renaissance right into the 21st century. And all of this would happen under the auspices of a single emperor named Constantine, who of all of the fakers and charlatans that history has coughed up to steal the moniker the Great, Constantine really deserved it.
November 8, 324 AD. After 2 decades of bloody civil war, the Emperor Constantine has finally seized sole control of the entire Roman Empire. He is a leader with a vision, a brilliant strategist, and a man without limits.
He became emperor really through his own wiles. He is ruthless in the way he assumes power.
Constantine the Great was one of those rulers that changed the world. He inherited a Roman Empire which had been divided into 2 parts.
Constantine would reunite the vast empire, ruling over its western and eastern halves.
He was a very astute politician, and he was faced with the problem of both administering and of managing this enormous realm.
Just 6 weeks after ascending to the throne, Constantine journeys to the edge of the empire, to a remote spot in modern-day Turkey.
Constantine took a spear and traced the outline of the city in the dirt. His entourage was somewhat amazed at the extent to which he intended to build the city. He is said to have commented, "I will go as far as until he who leads me stops."
That line would become the boundary of the empire's great new capital, Nova Roma, New Rome. And from that sketch would rise a glittering city in the center of a great new empire. The city would come to be known as Constantinopolis, Constantine's city.
Constantine effectively shifts the center of the Roman Empire and founds a new center.
He was moving away from Rome with its old rivalries, political infighting, vested interests and so forth, to create something quite new which he could mold.
Constantine's vision for his new city would be built upon the engineering techniques perfected during the Roman Empire.
There was a grand campaign of construction, of building forums, marketplaces, to build the kind of buildings that ancient Rome had.
But Constantine's rule would be marked by one major distinction. Unlike any previous emperor, he would harness the power of another ruler. His name was Jesus Christ.
Christianity is really on the rise. There is a large Christian presence in the empire, and simply recognizing this presence made a good deal of political sense.
Constantinople was founded, in effect, as a Christian empire, and Orthodox Christianity was fundamental to its existence.
Sometime in the mid-700s, under the papacy of Stephen II, a document called Donatio Constantini, the Donation of Constantine, appeared. The story goes that one day Constantine was busy running around persecuting Christians, when he came down with a bad case of leprosy. All of the emperor's horses and all of the emperor's men couldn't put Constantine back together again. Then the pagan emperor had a vision of Saint Peter and Saint Paul, who told him to go see the Bishop of Rome, who apparently was in the business of faith healing. The Pope was brought at once to the Lateran Palace and told the ailing emperor, "Only baptism will cure your leprosy." So, Constantine agreed to be baptized, and magically, his leprosy was healed. He immediately issued a proclamation declaring that Christianity should be practiced throughout the empire, and everyone should give 1/10 of their money to build new churches, because this was indeed the one true God. He donated the Lateran Palace to the Bishop of Rome for all posterity, Then he ran outside with a shovel and dug up 12 bucketfuls of dirt, one for each of the apostles, of course, and thus commenced the building of the original St. Peter's Basilica on Vatican Hill. Constantine then goes on to grant vast powers to the papacy. All judges and bishops are subject to the Bishop of Rome, thus the Catholic hierarchy was created. He grants the Pope and his successors the imperial crown, the purple mantle and the red tunic of the emperors, the scepter, the standards and the banners, and all the imperial paraphernalia. All clergy were granted senatorial status and were granted the right to, quote, ride on white horses adorned with saddlecloth of purest white, wearing white shoes like senators. Then the emperor gave the Pope and his successors control over Judea, Greece, Asia, Thrace, Africa, as well as the city of Rome with Italy and the entire Western Empire. He even offered him the title Western Roman Emperor, but the bishop refused the crown in humility and promised just to wear his humble Phrygian cap. And since it's not fitting for the emperor to rule in the same city where St. Peter's successors ruled, Constantine decided to found Constantinople in the east and move his court there, away from the Pope.